Lesson 8.8, writing equations. So we are going to take the information we had from yesterday using slope-intercept form and basically flip it around. Yesterday they gave you the equations in slope-intercept form, and you had to identify the slope and the y-intercept and then take that information and graph it. So today, the opposite, they're going to give us the slope and y-intercept, and we have to actually write the equation. So just to review this part, y equals mx plus b. What does the m stand for? Dakota? Slope. So the m stands for slope. And what does the b stand for? It's the y-intercept. So the b stands for the y-intercept. Okay, so those two numbers are very important in graphing. So the number in front of x is slope, and the constant term at the end is the y-intercept. They're going to start off by just giving you slope and y-intercept. So write the equation. So let's look at this one right here. It says slope equals 2 and y-intercept equals 3. What would the equation of that line be in slope-intercept form? Stephen?
Y equals 2x plus 3.
Very good. Y equals 2x plus 3. The slope you plug in front of the x, and the y-intercept goes at the end by itself. Y equals 2x plus 3. All right, let's check out this one. It says the slope is 1/3 and the y-intercept is -5. Tori, what would that one be?
Y equals 1/3 x minus 5.
Y equals 1/3 x minus 5. Very good. Make sure when the y-intercept is negative, it comes down there as a minus in front of that number. So y equals 1/3 x minus 5. Any questions so far? All right, let's check this one out. Remember what happens when it is zero slope. When it's zero slope, think about what that slope looks like at perfect north and what that means. So the y-intercept is 1. What would that equation look like? Tori?
Y equals 1.
Very good. Y equals 1. Because let's think about if we put that 0 in front of the x, what's 0 times anything?
0.
0. So that just eliminates that, and she's right. It's just y equals 1. Very good. All right, any questions about that? All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to look at some graphs. Now this isn't as pretty as it's going to be on your homework, okay? These are hand-drawn graphs, but what you've got to do is take the information that you learned yesterday, and you're going to pull out the slope and the y-intercept and then write the equation. So let's go to this one right here. What I would recommend and what would be best is finding the y-intercept first. See where it crosses on the y-axis and identify that as b. Then count to the next point the rise over run, or maybe fall over run, depending if it's a positive slope or a negative slope. And you're going to write that in the equation for y equals mx plus b. All right, who wants to do our first one? All right, Trayton, what is the y-intercept of that line? 1. And then check out the rise over the run from that, and what would the slope be?
2/2.
It goes, you got to be careful with this. Like I said, this isn't great. It looks like it just goes up 2 and over 1. I know it's not in a very good spot. It looks like it just goes over 1.
2/1.
Yeah, 2 over 1, which would be a slope of 2. That's actually looks like it's kind of in the middle. I'm sorry about that. But it's just one step over, I'm sure. So then, Trayton, what would the equation of that be? Y equals 2x plus 1. Okay, when it is just over 1, 2 over 1, you just write 2. Okay, the only time that it's going to be a fraction there when it literally does not reduce to an integer. Okay, let's check this one out. I'll see if I can't make the steps a little clearer on this one, sorry. So this one is here, and it goes here and here. Does that help, or does that make it worse? First of all, what's the y-intercept on this one? Can you tell, Tori?
2.
Not 2. It's below the line.
Oh, negative 2.
Yeah, -2. Okay, now let me see if I can make this a little better. It goes like that, and then like that. So what's the slope? 1. And what would my equation be then?
Y equals x minus 2.
Very good. Y equals x minus 2 is it. You don't have to write the 1 in front of the x when the slope is 1. All right, questions about that? Let's check this one out. Okay. Where does that one cross the y-axis? Can you tell? How about somebody that hasn't answered yet today? Can you tell where that one crosses? Braxton?
0.
Yeah, so the y-intercept is 0. And let me see if I can help out with this slope. It does this. It goes down here 1 and over there twice. So what slope would that be, Braxton?
2.
It goes down 1, which would be what number?
Negative 1.
-1, and then right 2. So what do you think the slope is?
Negative 1 over 2.
-1/2. Very good. So, Braxton, what would the final equation be then, now that we've got the slope and the y-intercept?
Y equals 1/2 x plus 0.
Close. We want to say 1/2 x?
No.
What do you want to say?
Y equals -1/2 x.
Negative 1/2 x. Do we need to say plus 0 on the end? Nope. So this one is y equals negative 1/2 x, and that would be it. There'd be no need to write plus 0 on the end. All right, questions about those? I promise the ones that you guys do, the graphs will be much better. They'll be on real coordinate graphs and easier to read. All right, questions about that? Let's kind of switch over to the right side now. Pull this down a little bit. So we've got this one. Maybe you already recognize what it is. Let's see what happens. Right here. Somebody want to try that one? All right, Tori, where is it crossing on the y-axis? 2. And Tori, look at that line and think about slope and think about perfect north when we've talked about it. What is that slope?
0.
Yeah, it's 0 fun if you come across a slope like that at perfects. So what does that equation look like in slope-intercept form?
Y equals 2.
Y equals 2. Yep. Y equals 2, because you're not going to put the x term because it would be 0 times x, just like we said before, and that would fall out. All right, so you're going to get some graphs and have to write the equations, and then you might come across some problems like this. Let's read this. A beach chair rental, it is $25 plus $5 per hour, and you need to write in slope-intercept form. So let's talk about this just a little bit. Y equals mx plus b, and I'm just going to tell you, the y-intercept, that is a constant value. That's just a number that is set. It's not going to change. The slope, on the other hand, is dependent upon something that you multiply it times. So it's going to be, that amount's going to be changing depending on whatever x is, whatever you multiply it by. So if we're looking at $25 plus $5 per hour, and we got to put it in slope-intercept form, you're going to start off with y equals. Which one of those numbers is more constant, and which one is the one we're going to multiply by for slope? Trayton.
5.
5 is the one we use for slope. So it's going to be 5x, and then the constant amount is the 25. So you're going to pay the 25 no matter how long you have the chair, and then $5 per hour. So y equals 5x plus 25 is an equation you can use to rent the beach chair. Now, we were going to rent it for 4 hours. For 4 hours. How can I solve how much that's going to cost total? What can I do with the 4? Shane?
Multiply it by 5.
Yeah, we're going to plug it in just like this. 5 times 4, because the hours are going to stand for x, plus 25. And then you're just going to do your order of operations. You're going to multiply 20 plus 25. And for 4 hours, Braxton, what's it going to be?
$45.
$45. Okay, I'm trying to get this up a little bit. Hold on a minute. $45. Okay, so we're actually taking word problems and now using them and applying them to slope-intercept forms. So you'll get to do that more and more. Are there any questions?